Welcome to our segment of How I'm Seeing It, and today we're focusing on this year's campus election.
Now, 2 weeks ago, students were treated to a highly competitive election that was dubbed the most credible, free and fair election in the history of USIU students' election. This process has been seen the commissioners receive acknowledgements, thumbs up, and for every quarter of this university. Well, that is just that, but was the election really free and fair?
On the first day of the election, candidates demanded to have a look at the results, at least as provisional as they were. The vendor, who happened to be an alumni, was unable to later on explain how there were 500 duplicate votes, recycling himself over the differences on the results at the back end and those on the front end. The question is, if results at the back end are unable to change, then they should reflect what people are seeing at the front end. That was not the case.
Also, problems surfaced when there was a rechanneling of voters with lists of registered pharmacy majors being swapped with registered voters in psychology. Now imagine turning out to vote, but upon arrival, the center, your candidates cannot appear on the voting list because they have been swapped for another school. Unthinkable, right?
But that should not shock you. According to the registrar, the pharmacy majors had not been separated from the psychology majors since they were in the same department some time back. One can only imagine this being a case of professional negligence. Look, pharmacy and psychology are extremely different. In fact, pharmacy is now a school on its own. There is absolutely no way the two lists of voters would interchange if there was no problem with the system.
Some of those irregularities would make voters lose interest in process or discourage them altogether from participating in such activities in posterity. Everyone wants a value and meaning for their votes.
Now, for this, we can reference it back to the Supreme Court ruling of 2017 that an election is not an event, it is a process from the beginning to the end.
This election is the second one to be held under the new constitution that accommodated changes from the University Amendment Act 2016 that was signed into law by President Uhuru Kenyatta. The system goes that students elect an electoral college based on departments within the institution, who in turn elect electoral college.
However, since the introduction of this system, students have recorded low turnout in terms of participation in the election. Unlike the era of the popular vote system of election, this year, a paltry 1,500 students turned out to vote, compared to 2,600 students who turned out in 2017 during the popular vote system. Have students lost hope in this activity? Clearly, yes, and the numbers argue in their favor.
So what can we say was the motive of such a law in the country? What are we preparing our students for? If the country does not embrace an electoral college system, why would it be imposed on people who can make decisions independently? Well, this is how I'm seeing it. First, the system of election is abhorrent and must be scrapped altogether.
Students must be subjected to a representative democracy where they choose their own leaders directly, as is the case at the national level.
Also, the registrar of students must get up and own her mistakes, clear her system, and separate all merging entities.
This will help encourage people to participate in democratic processes that have direct impacts on them. Lastly, on the electronic system of voting, we must procure competent vendors who can be trusted to come up with undoubted systems. That is the basis of all electoral complaints.
As soon as that is done, we can only be proud to say that we are USIU, education to take you places. That is how I'm seeing it, and I'm Vinisa Ajumaze.
And my name is Hudson Amenya. This is how I'm seeing it.